Coming up in the LCS Preview Show, we reflect on Diamond and Darian's departure, get our fantasy rocked by Prolly, and let you settle a disagreement between Ja and Claky D. Don't touch that browser. The LCS Preview Show starts right now.
Millennium have been destroyed here by the Super Hot crew. It's going to be an 8-1, and what a turnaround that was.
Oh! He gets it!
He got it!
500 kills, uplift, and there's the Nexus. CLG holding on to first place.
Good job. Fnatic chasing on this one. Tabs gets exploded by Peke. It's a perfect super week, ladies and gentlemen, for Fnatic. No way! Right to the turret! This is going to be first blood.
That was all special right there.
What a super week for Curse.
Welcome to the LCS Preview Show. I'm Rivington Bisson III, and for those viewers in North America, we hope you had a safe and enjoyable day celebrating our nation's independence. For the rest of you, we hope you enjoyed the 4th day of the month.
Yeah, maybe 3 days before that as well was Canada Day, Riv. That's where it's at.
Yeah, maple syrup and hockey.
Damn straight. I'm Joshua Leiston, and we're here to talk about the biggest news across the league and to help you hone your fantasy squad.
That's right. Of course, the biggest news this week is the fact that Gambit Gaming is benching Diamond and Darian, and we'll talk about that in detail shortly. But first, let's take a look back as we soared into the second half of the summer split with 16 games in a super week of action. Starting with the European LCS. Our first featured matchup is between two of the top-tier teams, Alliance versus SK Gaming.
Yeah, the big question coming into Super Week for Alliance was how good are they really? And since they're up against their most formidable foe in the first match, we're about to find out.
You know what, being the first place team, they're still 3 games ahead. That's a big chunk, and with this one, it looked like they were only going to get further ahead in Super Week, putting SK down at every time they could.
Check out that double Morella Nomicon on Lulu and the Twisted Fate. Gave him a big mid-game power spike.
That's the new meta. It strikes fear into the eyes of opponents, and a 21-minute surrender, apparently, coming out of SK. Kind of mind-blowing to start off a Super Week.
What an impressive showing there by Alliance. People were thinking they're completely unstoppable, or how was SK actually faring in the Super Week?
How were they faring? Super Hot Crew was looking to take a chunk out of them after that falter.
Yeah, just jumps right on top of Freddy, even with the ghoul. He can't quite chase him down.
Fast plays coming out of Super Hot Crew. They were ready to take advantage of SK being behind, and we jumped 58 minutes into the game. What a scaling AP team that Super Hot Crew brought to the table here with Selfie's teleport.
The big thing that happened in this fight there is SK got separated from the peel of the Zyra. The caster being so big was a huge factor in this late game team fight, and SK, despite being able to hold it out this long, could not hold it any longer.
A really great showing from Super Hot Crew all around throughout the game. SK trying a few different things. We've seen the SOAS, or we've seen the Yorick top, I should say, coming out of Europe. But didn't work that time, unfortunately. Looking at some more highlights, Copenhagen Wolves versus Alliance. The Copenhagen Wolves are 3-13 here against a 14-2 Alliance.
Yeah, I mean, nothing could really happen to Alliance here. You don't really need to watch the best team play the worst team in the league. I mean, Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, the early game was completely held by Copenhagen Wolves. They knew to take down the top team in the league, they had to put the pedal to the metal early. Yeah, it was like Copenhagen Wolves was a team possessed. Alliance was also caught a little bit sleeping because they had Fnatic up later that day, and it looks like they just overlooked the Wolves. It's been a while since the Wolves have heard that howl. Super Hot Crew up versus next on Millennium is our highlight, and really this was kind of a mimer reel. It looked bad for Super Hot Crew in a lot of times, but he was able to come out on top. Yeah, Super Hot Crew does know how to put up numbers, and they do win a lot of games. Against Millennium, though, no pushovers, so still a really formidable opponent. These guys are fighting for the middle of standings. And Super Hot Crew would only continue to impress here as they strike up quite a chaotic fight, but again, the mimer teleport. They really wanted to kill Selfie in this one. Really, really badly. Getting away, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and you're just left chasing. The tunnel leads into a complete ace as Mimer's picking up a triple kill in this one. And to add insult and injury, Selfie didn't even die. It was a complete run over there by Super Hot Crew. Very good play coming in, and with their win against Millennium, Super Hot Crew ended a 3-1 Super Week. We look at another matchup here, Alliance versus Fnatic, an all-out top-of-the-table battle, and Fnatic's trying to get a rising into that table. Yeah, they were 3-0 in Super Week coming into this game, needing to beat the top team in the standings in order to close out that 4-0 Super Week. and some very critical Syndra versus Orianna play in this one, but it got late.
Yeah, Alliance biting off a little more than he can chew there, and Cyanide really a catalyst to keeping this fight going. Flash Randuin's gets the cocoon, and everybody's there to help with the stuns, especially Pekka.
Yeah, Alliance was just in full retreat mode. They had no front line to stand against the barrage of damage that Fnatic was putting out. Eventually, Froggen gets caught, and it was just curtains from here.
Yeah, Fnatic uses this one to climb up a little bit, while Alliance, a little bit shaky super weak from the super team that everybody thinks would be really getting a 4-0 out of that.
Still 14-4. I mean, it's not like they're a terrible team all of a sudden. Still the best team looking in Europe.
All right, so after week 7 in the European LCS, let's take a look at their standings. Despite Alliance's 2 losses and the death of the 26-2 The Dream, they are still the team to beat, sitting in first, like we said, with 14 wins and 4 losses. Well, thanks to yet another perfect Super Week performance, Fnatic is now tied with SK Gaming for second. But right now, the biggest story in the European LCS isn't about teams climbing up the table. To bring us up to speed on an announcement that means big changes for the LCS, I'd like to welcome Quickshot to the show. How's it going, Quickshot?
Hey, pretty good, Riv. I'm a little sad to see 2 legends of League of Legends stepping down.
That's true. Let's talk about this. This week for Gambit, their starting roster will be dramatically different, and as they are benching 2 more of their star players.
Well, that's right. So Gambit, they've been struggling this summer. They've actually been struggling since Alexic left before the split began. He was replaced by Nick, who has done an admirable job in that mid lane, but it's simply not enough to solve all of Gambit's woes. Diamond and Darien have been benched by Gambit for week 8, and they have been replaced by Cubon in the top lane, formerly of Mecha Makers last year, currently playing for Reason Gaming, and Lolex in the jungle. Lolex did, of course, substitute for Gambit when they played at the Roadshow in London. Now, Diamond and Darien, they've been playing together with the rest of the team since 2011, where they joined Team Empire. Empire then became Moscow 5 in 2012, and they went on a rampage, tearing apart European events and every Intel Extreme Masters they attended. Moscow 5 eventually became Gambit, where the team had a fantastic performance through most of 2013, including attending Worlds at the end of the year. And this is a drastic and worrying change for the team, considering how close they are to Worlds this year. Diamond took over the face of Gambit since Alex's departure in the summer split, and he's got an incredible list of accomplishments. I think he's one of the most innovative players that actually revolutionized the jungle role in competitive League of Legends. He played a bunch of unorthodox champions. Well, they were unorthodox at the time until Diamond made them standard. And I think the biggest ones that really stand out for me is Volibear and Nasus from Season 3. If you even go further back to Season 2 in 2012, I would dare say it was Diamond that inspired others with his aggressive counter-jungling. He set the de facto mode of jungling in the game. He brought champions like Evelynn, like Udyr, like Xin Zhao to the limelight when many other teams and players considered him weak. And last year, just some more highlights, he actually played against Insects in a Lee Sin versus Lee Sin battle at the All-Star match. Unfortunately, Diamond came away with a loss, but it was memorable nonetheless. He was again voted into this year's All-Star event in Paris, and he's got a massive fan base behind him because of his incredible level of play and because of all of the years of amazing performances he's put together. Now, Darien is also on the bench, and he's got a list of accomplishments of his own, both positive and negative. I think the most recent is, of course, how dominant he was with Warwick in the spring split. His swag style of play, because every top laner needs a Deathcap, Rylai's, and Omewrecker. And of course, you can't forget Darien's feed to win strategy. It worked up. Both of these players represent pillars for Gambit. They've been with the team from the beginning. And the question is, how will they perform without 2 of their original 5? Very quickly before I go, this is a substitution, meaning they're not entirely out of the scene, but Diamond rather did say in a recent stream that he will take serious offers into consideration. It's something that we need to keep our eyes on.
Well, we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on Diamond to see what develops there. Thanks again, Quickshot. As always, it's been a pleasure. And no doubt that all eyes will be on Gambit this week to see what happens. So let's bring in Shox, who's been speaking with the players to get their reactions to the news, which sent shockwaves across the social media. How are you, Shox?
Ready to rock and roll, Riv.
Likewise. So you've been speaking with the players on the European teams to gauge their reactions to this news about Gambit. What have they been saying?
Well, Riv, first off, I talked to Millennium's Kevin, who has had years and years of experience versus Darien in that top lane. He isn't that surprised, and he thinks getting the right top laner will change a lot for Gambit. And I quote, because they will have a person that won't die so often and buy some wards for the laning phase as well. If you gank Darien, Kevin adds, 95% sure you'll get a kill. Now, Rocket Zazas agrees and sees Darien as the weak link in Gambit as well. Now, where the benching of Darien seems expected for most pros, the replacement of Diamond is more of a shock. Rocket Tsiankos is one of those pros who were taken off guard. He told me that he didn't think Diamond is that much out of shape to lead to him being replaced. He adds that he feels sad about the news for Diamond and said, and I quote, "He is my idol and he inspired me to make it in League of Legends." Now, Fnatic Cyanide agrees that it's sad to see Diamond stepping down and feels that he used to be undeniably the best jungler around for a long period of time, but he continues, and I quote, "Nobody can stay at the top forever, and I guess Diamond is the kind of player who isn't satisfied when he isn't performing the best in his region."
All right, thank you for being our boots on the ground and speaking with the teams to get that information, Shocks. We'll see you a little bit later today. Now let's turn our attention from the top and jungle to the mid lane, where another 300 CS record was broken for the 4th time this split, this time by Fnatic's Peke. Earlier this split in a game against Alliance, Peke set the mark for the fastest to 300 CS in the league at 24:26. However, Alliance's mid laner got his revenge with a little leapfrogging. First, he took down the record against Rawcat in 23 minutes, 23 seconds. Then he rubbed it in Peke's face, setting it again at 23 minutes, 11 seconds versus Fnatic. Not to be outdone, Peke came right back with the help of his teammates and reclaimed the record on the Lady of Clockwork at 21:51, which is where the record currently sits. So watch out, minions. There may be some record hunting before the summer split is over. And as soon as today's LCS preview show ends, the European Series returns with Week 8. They'll kick off with the Rocket team ready to climb the standings versus the second place SK Gaming. Then on Friday, the action starts with the table-topping Alliance taking on Rocket and ending the day in what could be a battle for second place between Fnatic and SK Gaming. But now let's turn to the sublime and engage in a little fantasy. Fantasy LCS, that is. For that, we'll turn it over to our own Mr. Fantastic, Jet.
Thanks, Riv. And since last week was a super week, we had 32 games played across North America and Europe, hopefully resulting in a ton of fantasy points for your team. So first, we're going to take a look at the studs who grabbed the most points. Selfie, he lived up to his name here, pulling in 111 points against only having been estimated for 65. So he was the highest fantasy earner. Xiao as well, right behind him, racking up 98 points off an estimated 77. And Reckless rode in on the power of Fnatic's undefeated Super Week, grabbing 96 points versus estimated 78. Now, we also need to give some props to the viewers who named the top fantasy stud from Week 7. Both Nicholas Anderson and Tom Monster named Selfie as the #1 point grabber, so congratulations to both of you on your predictive powers and, most importantly, your hashtag control. But with the sweet must come the sour, and here were the duds from Week 7. First up was Darren and Diamond's teammate Genja, who was nearly 30 points off the pace, pulling in only 37 from an estimated 68. Next up was Balls, who fell off in the top lane. And although Cloud9 went 2-2 for the week, he only pulled in 43 points from an estimated 58. And one surprise dud was Alliance. The first place team dropped a loss to the Copenhagen Wolves and Fnatic, and then because they forced SK into that early surrender, they didn't get many fantasy points from that game either, and just overall had a bad week. But now let's actually check out some of the sleepers who should wake up this week and you should definitely be playing. Now here's Selfie. He was one of our studs last week, so he's not really a sleeper, but considering he's only being started in 14% of the leagues, he may as well be a sleeper. So that sound you're hearing is your alarm clock going off. Play Selfie. Paul Belter as well should be good this week. He faces Curse and Cloud9, and in EG's 2 victories against those teams, he was 6-0 in his KDA, 6.0 KDA. And besides being a KDA champ, he also picked up the record for the most CS in a single game in the North American LCS, making him a fantasy farmer as well. And Curse, everyone on Curse. Speaking of them, I feel good about their chances this week. They faced Complexity and the Evil Geniuses, and in the 2 wins against those teams, the team combined had a 7.82 KDA. And also we have some red alerts that we do pretty much every week that you need to stay away from. This guy, Diamond, and Darian, as Quickshot just mentioned, were both benched. So you'll need to make sure that neither of them are in your lineup and that you slot in some replacements. We've already mentioned this split that you should bench both of these players, and at this point you should just probably drop them completely. That also brings us to Voyboy. And I know I said Curse was going to have a good week, so why is Voyboy on the alert list? There's 2 reasons. 1, he has struggled to earn fantasy points in Curse's 4 games against EG and Complexity, and his 2.73 KDA is troubling. The second reason, though, is we had a disagreement in our production meeting about whether Voyboy should be a sleeper or an alert, so we actually decided to let you guys be the judge. Claky D thinks Curse is going to do not very well. I think they're going to do well. So if you agree with me that Curse will crush this week, then hit us up on Twitter at LOLesports and use the hashtag JatIsRight. If you agree with the LCS Preview Show stats guru Claky D that Voyboy and Curse will get crushed, then use the hashtag ClakyDisRight. And just so you know, Claky D is tied for 4th in our LCS Preview Show league. Just mentioning that. Now let's send it back over to Riv for a look at the champion countdown.
Claky D is right. Oh yeah, we've only had one new face make a splash into the summer pool party this week. Well, last week, I guess. So let's take a look at the champion countdown. Our newest champion comes to us courtesy of Overpowered. He picked the Majestus Ascendant versus the Copenhagen Wolves. That was our first Xerath this split. That brings our total to 65 champions picked so far in the summer. And we're way behind the 82 picked at this point in the spring. Unless some new champions start lining up for the diving board, this party might just fizzle before it sizzles. But one lucky viewer was able to call out our new champion, even though he might have been slightly late, or perhaps Chrono shifted ahead before he remembered to tweet. Either way, at any rate, Thomas Byron uncannily identified Xerath as our next champion to be picked. Congrats on your mental prowess. Let us know if the upcoming lottery numbers, if you happen to spot them. The day after they came out, even. So if you think you have what it takes to call out the next new champion we'll be seeing this week, send it to us on Twitter at LOLesports along with the hashtag LCSPreview. Now we'll go behind the scenes to spy on your favorite players during their most intimate and unguarded moments. At least that's what it used to be that way. That's right, it's time for this week's All Chat.
Hey, probably.
Hello?
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 Hello? Hello? What's guys? Hello?
I won a solo queue game today, so just try not to lose that hard.
I won as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't win. I had you on my team. Never mind.
Oh yeah, clever.
You knew when to come to me? I outplayed Creighton so hard. Oh my god.
Yasuo does a lot of damage.
Oh, you're the first one to notice. Congratulations.
Do you realize, Turtle, how much damage Yasuo does?
Nice. Is the game?
Yeah, are we gonna ascend to the heavens on your back?
No, but nobody will hit skill shots on me. He's so fast.
Watch ult.
Give it.
Aatrox is actually my favorite feeding champion as well, guys.
That's Shyvana.
I do think he has quite a good death animation.
Twitch mid.
Yeah, Eva's top. Eva's top. Eva's top.
I'll push bottom hard.
Yeah, push bottom. Do you have TP, Freddy?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Everyone jump! Everyone jump! I went second sacrifice, man. See ya, Yuri. I go, maybe. Maybe Scanner?
No.
Okay, never mind. Yuri, see you.
It was nice knowing you.
Wait, excuse me. Can I get Red Bull?
Yes, me too, please. Can I get one as well?
Can I get a steak?
That all-American food is not sitting well with me.
What do I buy?
I don't know.
Actually,
I'll tap. I know BT.
Alright.
Renekton can go bottom right now.
Should I buy Banshee straight or Negatron into BF?
I got Mobius. I'm taking the gamble.
Alright, I got Large Rod.
I have Infinity Edge. Like, this is a huge spike.
Okay.
Cop bought 2 IEs by accident, by the way. Oh my god, I'm so fucking bad. I bought 2 IEs. I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Can you refund or?
No.
Oh. You have to get more personalities like an 8. So TSM.
Dignitas.
Oh, okay.
We sure about the Ziggs? He's a little risky.
Yeah, his laning phase isn't really safe.
I'm trolling.
But he scales really well.
I can't wait for them to use this clip.
Always some clutch moments you catch in All Chat that you never would have thought happened, like when we described it as the best BF buy because of the Infinity Edge.
I mean, double Infinity Edge. You never really knew what Cop was thinking until now. He did tweet oops after the game.
He did tweet oops. He knew. So for a special extended version of All Chat, be sure to visit the LCS Preview Show page, LOLesports.com. Now, for last week, we had 3 players get added to 2 of the most exclusive clubs in the LCS. And the credentials for the membership, I gotta say, they're pretty tight.
Yeah, if you can believe it, even Riv and I couldn't get into this club.
Nope. Not even. Well, I'm not giving up hope just yet. We'll see what happens. But to get invited to this party, you do need to have 500 kills or 1,000 assists in the LCS. And with 102 games so far, the club has just opened up, actually, the last 2 weeks for the first members.
Yeah, the first member was Bjergsen, actually, who has a combined 517 kills across 91 games in the European and North American LCS, and was the first member of the club, getting his 500th kill 2 weeks ago.
And as we saw, he was joined by both Doublelift and Peke as they finished last week with 508 and 504 kills, respectively.
Yeah, and right now there's only one support member on the dance floor in the 1,000 Assist Club, where XSpecial has gained entry with a massive 1,014 assists. But odds are he'll have a dance partner later this summer, with Nif currently sitting at 937 regular season assists.
And no doubt players will be queuing up for entry throughout the rest of the summer split, and we'll be sure to keep an eye on who gets in. But before we head into the chase for 500 and 1,000 this week, let's bring it back to the West Coast and take a look at some of the highlights from the North American LCS. This week was all about Curse. All 4 of their games were against top teams in the standings. And our first highlight, they face off against Team Solo Mid.
Yeah, and this was a really strange move if you remember this game. Bjergsen saw the Eve on the turret with his TF ult, and they decided the 2v3 dive anyway. Against Quasta Renekton, it wasn't a good idea. He gets a double kill.
Yeah, we've seen Dyrus in this situation. See it go the other way. Dyrus now knows what it's like from the end of getting that double kill on you. Quast coming up big. Glebe was also helping on the side of Team Solo Mid, though.
Yeah, Team Solo Mid stalled this one out pretty long. 53 minutes, waited for the Jax and TF to power up, and the double Infinity Edges weren't helping Cop much here.
No, they did not at all. Dyrus coming in with a good teleport. He's been on point with that control this year. Definitely something TSM has needed as they stepped up a lot of the roster as well. LMQ versus Curse, our next highlight. Curse began to turn things around just when you thought it would be impossible.
Yeah, and speaking of turnarounds, this was a 2v3 gank where XSpecial hooked himself a Lee Sin to help Cop start out with the kill. And after he falls here, he picks himself up a double.
Yeah, he does. The Cathian surprise is always fun to make sure you get under your opponent's skin and make sure you get that last laugh.
Real good there. XSpecial, so many hooks. Then this game was somewhat decided by this team fight. Notice how Curse is down about 4,000 gold coming into this one, but they play the fight just right.
Really such a chaotic fight going back and forth. It looks like it could be anybody's the entire time, but Curse was just too big at this point. That was the story.
Gotta remember how fed Cop was throughout this, and also how good he is at predicting things. Pow.
They're so good at fighting from behind, I just don't get it. 34-30, we see XSpecial with the hook again as he lands it onto No Name, and then another one onto Moore.
Yeah, the high CDR Threshes who land their hooks are the most dangerous of foes.
Where are you going?
XSpecial really controlling this game, and this pulled Curse to 1-1 on the week.
Yeah, they were really looking to make a mark. Up next, XSpecial and Cop had a tremendous day against Cloud9 in our next highlight. Like we said, they fought the top 4.
Yeah, coming into this week, people were thinking Curse was going to fall right to the bottom of the standings, but the Leona pick in this one really surprised Cloud9. They were not very good at handling those Leona ults.
Yep, and XSpecial getting that Corki real quick, and everybody keeps going headstrong. Cloud9 looking for solace on the fountain, but they're not even going to find it.
This game was a little bit strange, but Curse had the long con going on in this one. 4 kills, but the victory.
That's right. We're going to jump into our next highlight of Curse versus Counter Logic Gaming. We'll see if they can take them down, and you know what? It was one of the harder games.
Yeah, and who expects Cop and XSpecial to beat up Doublelift and Afromoot in lane, except the box hits Doublelift twice, taking him low enough for Cop's execute.
A great wait for the 6s, and XSpecial and Cop have just been coming out on top. More from XSpecial's Thresh. I wasn't sure how he kept getting that pick.
Yeah, and then they're able to chase in just at the end, and this was kind of a protect the Cop position right there. Notice how he took a bunch of turret shots, and it only helps Curse get even more kills.
Kind of goes back to old school when Cop played all the utility AD carries. Now he just gets in your face with that amount of protection, showing Doublelift what it's like to also get a zap on the Jinx. And that was the stuff all weekend that kept Curse going.
COG had just been coming back into the game here, and this was a big fight, just trying to get the dive on, dumping everything onto Cop. They forgot about Voyboy, who was a rather fed Orianna at this point in the game.
Voyboy and Quas coming up big at the end of this fight and just able to clear it out with the AP Brother Power. A double kill before Cop even goes down.
Yeah, so at the end of the week, Curse sits at 8-10. Which was definitely not expected against the top 4 teams to go 3-1.
Yeah, it was a good try by a lot of teams. Curse coming out huge. Those were really standings they needed to grab on such a hard week. So currently the standings in North America look like a freeway in Los Angeles. With a 4-way tie for first place, CLG, LMQ, Team Dignitas, and Team Solo Mid are stacked at the top with 11 wins and 7 losses.
Yeah, and Cloud9 slipped out of that first place race, but they're only 1 game back, so they're still in it at 10-8. But they could climb back when they face TSM on Sunday.
That's right, but the biggest story to come out of North America wasn't those first place teams. It was the reverse of the curse. Curse managed to beat LMQ, CLG, and Cloud9 while going 3-1 for the week.
Yeah, and heading into Super Week, it would have been hard to find someone who actually thought Curse could get 3 wins. Not only did they have their most difficult Super Week schedule of any North American team, they had struggled for most of the summer. Voyboy had been underperforming, and their all-star offseason acquisition X Special had been anything but special. But despite everything being stacked against them, Curse won 3 of their 4 games and have now won 5 of their last 7. Compare that to their first 11 games when they only managed 3 wins total, and it looks like Curse might have finally found their stride. And a lot of that success is due to X Special. Over the last 7 games, he started to play like the all-star support that helped lead Team Solo Mid to 3 trips to Worlds. Last week, he was rewarded with his first MVP award as a member of Curse as well, and in his post-game interviews, he displayed some of the leadership that Curse hoped they were getting when they signed the LCS veteran. Now this week, X Special leads his team against Complexity and the Evil Geniuses. And while a pair of games against the league's bottom team seems like it should be a walk in the park after their success last week, Curse has struggled against these 2 squads. Just 2 weeks ago, Curse went head-to-head with EG and Complexity, and while they finished 1-1, it took one of the most insane games in the summer for Curse to come back and beat Complexity. If Curse really wants to put some distance between themselves and 7th place, they need to beat EG and Complexity this week, or another 4th place finish might actually be out of reach, and they've wasted a perfect chance to climb up the standings after a near-perfect Super Week.
And speaking of near-perfect performances, as Jat mentioned, last week's EG's pole belter set an NA LCS record for the most CS in a game with 620. The previous record was 607 by XDG's ManCloud. Of course, the fact that EG's game versus Complexity lasted 65.5 minutes helped, but we've had 60-minute games before, and no other North American player has reached this 620 mark. Congratulations to Pole Belter. We'll see you on the next All Chat. And we'll see if Curse can continue to improve as we head into Week 8 of the North American LCS. Saturday, it kicks off with Complexity versus the reversed Curse. Then both teams are trying to climb the table.
And Curse can try to turn their fortune around once again as they face the Evil Geniuses in the first match on Sunday, and will end Week 8 with Complexity versus LMQ.
That's right, we're just about to get set into the games of Week 8, but let's take a look at the top 5 super plays from Super Week, or as Doublelift and Peke have the privilege of calling it, the Penta.
At number 5, Peke reached a milestone in his career as he picked up his 500th kill.
Pulls in 3 members, Agoni's embrace catches on 4. Yellowstar, he goes down. Shook comes around the side. Cyanide, the next focus. Shook's in trouble though. He gets caught out, and I believe Peke finally got his 500th regular season kill.
And not to be outdone, at number 4, Doublelift picks up his 500th kill right before the buzzer.
Kill of the LCS. Looks like he's not going to get it. He'll have to wait for the next game. Sneaky. Oh! He gets it! He got it! 500 kills for Doublelift. CLG holding on to first place.
At number 3, it's Cop with a blind artillery shot over the wall.
Vasily's got himself on the other side of the wall and can't return, as now Curse is 3 strong.
Prediction!
Hits it on the prediction indeed.
Shot fired, 4th place, bad choice.
Coming in at number 2, Selfie somehow saves himself and helps his team pick up the ace.
Sonya's coming down, but the fish is already on him. Knock up onto Selfie, wild goes himself. Can he get away from this one? Speeding himself up, but has he got the health to get away? Creaton's been focused. Selfie's still alive. Creaton is going to go down to Impaler, and look at this. Selfie somehow survives it. They turn it around, and Millennium have been destroyed here by the Super Hawk crew. What a turnaround that was.
And your number 1 play this week was Dexter's double kick, double kill.
Rift away, using what he can to keep himself alive. Going in onto Kaz, he has to be very careful here. He's got some slippery opponents. He's trying to fight a double pickup. What a composition and camaraderie coming in from Lincoln Dexter.
And suddenly everything is working for CLG.
Only more big plays to come this week. If you missed any of the LCS preview show, or you're like that guy from Memento and you don't remember if you missed any of the LCS preview show, then head over to lolesports.com.
I got a tattoo on my arm. Tell me where it is. Right between the leagues and tickets tabs at the top of the page, you will find the digital home of the preview show. And that's also where you can find the VODS tab, which will take you to our brand new hub that allows you to relive games across the league.
All right, that just about does it for us. But first, as you know, we give out a lot of fantasy advice on the preview show, but we're also playing it as well. In fact, last week, cameras caught Kobe and myself when we were checking and the footage from that shoot is this week's last hit.
I think we're just here to ruin people's fantasy points. That's it.
That was a good hit. Cutie Pie goes down. Robert flashes. He gets the explosive hit. Complexity is going to start pushing mid lane.
Complexity did not suffer a single casualty.
It's going to be another game won by Complexity, being the underdogs coming out. How many times this week has a team won down by 10,000 gold? 51-50 into the game. Yes, Complexity takes down Dignitas again.
It was a tough one for Complexity, but somehow they take down the #1 team in North America.